morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Thursday, June 15th, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. Just when you thought you were done with George Kittle sound bites, he actually gave us two more yesterday. These come from the Slow News Day podcast with Kevin Clark of The Ringer. And again, I didn't think we were going to go here, but these are interesting, and I wanted you to hear them. George Kittle broke down Kyle Shanahan as a play caller, and the first thing he said perked up my ears in a negative way, and then he actually cleared it up later on. I'll play him, and you'll understand what I mean. Here is the first one of Kittle describing how Kyle calls plays.
Kyle has this thing where, like, if he wants to set up like a play action or a bootleg type of pass, he'll sometimes just call a run play that he knows is not going to work. I can't remember what game this was. I want to say it might have been like the Vikings one year, Seattle this year. But we're running a run play multiple times, and it's averaging 2 yards a carry, 2 yards a carry, 2 yards a carry. And then we threw a play action behind it, and Debo goes for 75 yards against Seattle. And the whole thing is set up because it's the exact same motion, it's the exact same alignment, it looks the exact same. And all of a sudden, Debo's running the shallow. I'm faking on the defensive end. Linebacker thinks it's power. He steps up 4 yards, and Debo's uncovered in the flat running for a touchdown. So it's just stuff like that that's really fun because, Kyle Shanahan, he's like, hey, if I can get my skilled players the ball with field, with space in front of them, we're all running for days. And that's what's really fun because we have such a great yak team. And that's one thing that we always talk about. So he can scheme us up open, and it's really fun to be a part of that offense.
When I first heard that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean he calls plays that he knows aren't going to work? He's just wasting plays? He's throwing plays away? That can't be good. I was really kind of taken aback by that. But credit to Kevin Clark, because the very next question out of his mouth was, does that mean Kyle Shanahan wastes plays? And Kittle said no, and he told a story as to why.
It was when he was offensive coordinator for the Falcons. I think they're playing the Vikings. And the year that they're playing the Vikings, and he showed me, I've seen this clip 50 times over the course of my career, and they ran the same outside zone play. They ran it 3 or 4 times in the first 30 plays. And then the 35th play, they ran it, right before the 30th play, they ran a pass play action off of it. And the linebackers, they covered it, right? Mm-hmm. And so they come back to the play again, but it's a run play, and the linebacker thinks it's a pass, and so he's late to the run. And it ends up being an 80-yard run. And after that, he showed us the game. And then everybody was discombobulated with it because it changes up the whole structure of the defense, because now they're like, oh, we have to overplay that. And now that's when all the passes get actually open. And so he calls it unlocking the defense, which I'm a huge fan of, because you can see that when the defense does, they're they have to change up and they can't just continue with their game plan. And then once you do that, and then now they're guessing about what we're doing, that's when Kyle just kind of, eats people's lunch, because that's what he's really good at, is those game plans.
So basically what George is saying is you're going to start to overplay something with the way Kyle Shanahan calls plays, whether it's the run or the pass, because he's going to keep doing the same thing and again and again and again until you adjust to it. So once you overrun something or get out of position, that's when he's waiting for, and he can come back with the perfect counterpunch and really gouge you with a big play. That's what George said in a much longer way. Whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whatever, I just love any additional insight into how the 49ers do things. I want to know about the process. How do the gears turn? Because, look, we all seek understanding as fans. I think that there is an aspect of the fan base that says, look, even if I don't agree with what you're doing, just at least let me know what you were thinking when you were doing it. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. So I love all of that kind of inside baseball type of stuff, and I hope you do too. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Thursday, Bill Barnwell of ESPN.com has a column up right now about 9 active players that have a shot to finish their career as the greatest of all time at their respective position. There is one 49ers player on that list, but you'll have to read it to find out who. One thing to watch on Monday next week, I'm going to talk with the Godfather himself, Oscar Aparicio, formerly of the Better Rivals podcast. Many of you listening to this right now know who he is. Very, very smart 49ers fan. It is never a bad time to get smarter, and Oscar is going to make everybody smarter, help dissect some of the ins and outs of the Shanahan scheme. I'll probably play those Kittle cuts for him to get his opinion on that, and I'm actually going to try something new. I'm going to release it to the Gold Standard 49ers Podcast Network Patreon page first. It will eventually be a podcast and on the YouTube page, but before it goes anywhere else, it's going to go there to the Patreon, ad-free. So if you are so inclined, please become a patron. Please and thank you, and you'll get access to that and more. One thing you may have missed, for anyone out there that hasn't followed us on Twitter yet, what are you doing, first of all? We changed our Twitter handle. If you already follow us, you don't have to do anything. Don't worry about it. But if you're looking for us on Twitter, you like something, you want to give us a follow, we are now at GSN 49ers. It matches up with our Instagram account, which is also GSN 49ers. Just trying to streamline things a little bit. I know there's a lot of different places that you have to follow people, so we're trying to make things easier. So again, new Twitter handle at GSN 49ers. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Stay tuned for the OG Gold Standard Podcast with myself and Levin Black. And please check out our new website, goldstandardniners.com. We'll have more on these stories and everything else I think is worth knowing about in 49ers land. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.